2025 for my email and SMS marketing agency was a really good year, all things considered. But I wanted to create this video to kind of show you everything that we failed in 2025 as well, just to kind of give you some insight into the fact that, not everything is like a win, even though a lot of people, including myself, definitely focus a lot on those wins. I make these videos really just to document my own journey, share things that are working for me, and in this case, share things that are not working for me as I continue to grow my email and SMS marketing agency. My name's Gavin, that's what I do. I run an email and SMS marketing agency, make these videos to document my journey and show you guys this stuff. I don't really have anything to sell you on this channel. I do a little bit of coaching, so if that's something you're interested in, link down in the description. But anyway, let's get into it. The 6 things that we failed this year as a marketing agency. Number 1, HR and hire. So obviously within my team, currently we have about, I think it's 12 full-time staff. Hiring and finding good people is one of the hardest things to do, I think, in business in general. And as your role changes, you'll find that the majority of what you're actually doing is more people management and sales as you gradually take yourself out of the day-to-day operations of your business as you continue to grow. One of the issues that we had this year was we had somebody who was solid when it comes to their work, but would really struggle with communication. And while this just generally happens from like an HR standpoint, the reason that I consider it my failure, one of our failures in terms of the individual that we hired and eventually had to let go, was because of 2 things. One, I don't think we properly set expectations at the start of the hire process, which kind of set this person up a little bit for failure. But 2, as time went on and those expectations were set, problems continued to arise, which looking back at it retrospectively, we should have really cut ties the moment the problems continued to surface. But instead, I dragged the process out and I kept the person on longer than I should have. The reason I kept them on longer than I should have was because the immediate pain of having to fire them and hire somebody new, I was being lazy. It was too much of a pain for me to find somebody new. And instead I swapped out that immediate pain, finding somebody new in the short term, and I dragged that pain out over a long period of time where I was like, you know what, instead of taking a 10 out of 10 pain for a week and finding somebody new, I'll just take a 4 out of 10 pain for 6 months and hope that person got better. They didn't. I learned my lesson. I should have been quicker at pulling the trigger and finding somebody new. Because honestly, it just caused us more of a headache over the long term than it would have if I just pulled the trigger and acted quickly. So there's a big lesson there. When it comes to like HR and staff, if somebody isn't a fit, make a quick decision there and just pull the trigger and pull the Band-Aid off essentially. So I think my failure was not pulling that Band-Aid off quick enough essentially. So that's number 1. Number 2 was SEO. So one of my goals for last year was to really ramp up SEO. And we engaged an agency to fully dial in our website's SEO. And unfortunately, with changes that came from like Gemini and Google and whatever, the whole approach that the agency had taken to our SEO strategy had to change. And what that meant was that the agency had to change their SOPs, how they tackled our SEO, what their roadmap looked like for us. And for them, it was just too much of a headache. They didn't want to do it. And I understand. And I'm actually on good terms with this agency because fortunately, they actually did a bit of work for us for free at the month and then refunded everything that we'd paid to that date because they no longer wanted to do the work. And I think that was like the really honorable thing to do on their part. And to be honest, this is one of those things that was kind of out of my control as far as like what I could have controlled from a failure perspective. But nonetheless, our attempt at improving our SEO definitely didn't work out like I wanted it to. And to be honest, I'm still somewhat on the fence about where I want to take this. I think I do still want to, invest some money into improving the website's SEO, but just at the moment, I don't know where things are going from like a language learning model perspective. Like I don't know if it's worth investing in SEO if everything's going to eventually pivot to an LLM model. And I'm just on the fence about where I want to spend my money and if it's worth the bet, right? Like I don't want to spend a bunch of money on improving my website's SEO and then search engine results don't even matter because it's just using language learning models going forward. And if that's the case, we need to, instead of having an SEO strategy, we need to have a strategy that actually improves our results or basically our SERPs within these language learning models as opposed to Google search or Bing or something like that. And so I'm still on the fence. It's one of those things I'm going to focus on in Q3, which I talked about in one of my previous videos about everything that we're going to be achieving in 2026. We'll be focusing, I think, on SEO/SEO within a language learning model perspective in Q3 of this year. So that didn't really work either. Cold email. we tried rolling out cold email as an offer for certain B2B clients because we had a bunch of businesses come to us for email marketing, but weren't standard offer, i.e. e-commerce businesses. We sell e-com email marketing strategies, and unfortunately, we tried rolling out cold email to capture some of the B2B market, basically outreach strategies, and we just weren't really good at it. And what ended up happening was our skill set didn't match or what we could get to within e-commerce email marketing. And we ended up burning a few clients, failing to deliver effectively the cold email strategies. And I decided to pull the plug on that offer. What's interesting too is we had e-commerce businesses that we were doing that marketing for, and then we also tried selling them cold email. And even though our email marketing for the e-commerce business was doing really well, the flop that we had for the cold email strategy actually damaged our reputation because that didn't work, but it also made the clients look at our email marketing strategy for their e-commerce business with more skepticism relative to the work that we'd failed, right? And it makes sense, right? Like, we did really well with the e-commerce email marketing. We tried selling this other thing. This sucked. Naturally, they're gonna be like, that sucked. Does this suck as well? They're gonna come with that mindset. And so one of the lessons really, I think for me, was just like focusing on what you're good at, dial, like, rather than trying to expand horizontally, just dial in vertically what you're really good at. If you're an agency, don't try and start an e-commerce store. Just try and get more agency clients, as an example. Really quickly, sorry to interrupt the video. I just want to tell you something really cool that we've started doing with Inbox. I've actually created a school community where I teach you anything and everything I know about email and SMS marketing, from really advanced campaign strategies to how to simply set up your Klaviyo account, all the way to building really, really cool automations for the back end of your e-commerce store. Whether you're a business owner trying to learn how to do email marketing or an email marketer trying to learn how to become a better email marketer, there is a link in the description to this school community where I teach you everything I know. Check it out, it's worthwhile. Book a call to have a chat with me to see if you're a right fit for the community, and if you are, I'd love to get you in there. Anyway, sorry for interrupting your video, let's get back to it. Number 4 flop that we did was we tried running ads. I have been unable to crack ads for forever, really. We tried looking at doing Google ads, we tried looking at doing meta ads. Every single time that we rolled out a strategy, it flopped. It just didn't work out. We spent a bit of money on it. I think we probably spent about $2 to $3 grand on trying to run ads. I cannot seem to figure out how to make these work. It is one of my goals this year to actually dial these in a little bit. And instead of selling my email marketing services, I'm instead gonna try and push the school community and pivot the offer from ads for high ticket sales to instead ads for a lower ticket offer, i.e. the school community, which is $99 a month that we sell. So I'm gonna play around a little bit with that. I think the ad strategy overall, it's just a hard one to crack, and I think we do need to hire some expert consultants or just hire an agency to run it for us. We'll see. So ads flopped as well. Number 5, Twitter growth. And I'm actually gonna say Twitter growth and LinkedIn growth, to be honest. 2024, we had some really good growth on Twitter and LinkedIn through the use of like really compelling lead magnets that just got massive amounts of impressions, like hundreds of thousands of impressions. We tried replicating that strategy this year, and it seems like the algorithm has changed both on those platforms, and what worked in 2024 no longer works in 2025. And so what ended up happening was my LinkedIn profile probably stagnated at about 11,000 followers, and my Twitter account stagnated at about 6.5K followers. We haven't really had any growth on the profile this year with those initiatives. And so what we're gonna be trying to do this year, rather saying last year, but this year we're gonna try and roll out some more lead magnets, see if that works, and we're actually gonna be trying to focus on pushing out our Instagram and TikTok growth. Now, that kind of brings me into failure number 6, Instagram and TikTok growth. We tried posting regularly every single day on Instagram and TikTok to no success. And I really do think it came down to the format and the types of videos that we were putting out. And if I'm being fully transparent, I think I was kind of lazy with the videos that we were putting out there. I do think there's a massive gold mine of potential clients and sales that we can make using a compelling Instagram strategy for organic growth, and the same thing for TikTok. But right now, well, rather in 2025, we were just unable to tap into that. This year, we've actually built an entire team that's gonna help us focus on growing those strategies and really pushing out as much content as we possibly can. A bunch of short form content we're gonna be posting every single day on Instagram, and repurposing content onto TikTok and YouTube Shorts. 2025, it didn't work. we have a different strategy for 2026. We're gonna see if we can roll that out. Those are the 6 failures that we had within my agency for 2025. And all things considered though, if you watch the other video, or I will create another video that highlights all of our wins, these things happen, right? You have bets, you make bets, they don't work, and you just hope that the bets that you do win outweigh the cost of the bets that lost. And fortunately for us in 2025, that is exactly what happened. Overall, we're at a net positive. I'm really happy with where we're currently at, but for the time being, those failures, we're reflecting on them. You'll actually notice in this video, I talked about how we're implementing a different strategy this year rather than giving up entirely on pretty much, I would say 4 out of those 6 goals. So 4 out of those 6 goals, we're not giving up on the actual initiative, we're just changing our approach rather than just saying, hey, Instagram didn't work for us, get rid of it. We're gonna try and see how we can make it work for us rather than just give up entirely. So those are my things that flopped. I hope you found that useful, and I hope that kind of gives you some focus on the reality of like what this space actually is. It's not all wins. If you have any questions, chuck them down below. Happy to share my insights in terms of why I think things didn't work in a little bit more depth. I love getting comments from you guys, so post them down below. Check out the channel as well. I post 2 videos like this every single week on this channel, really just to document my journey and share tips and tricks, and we'll see you in the next video.